Hello. Welcome to Paranormal Albany's Characters in Focus, where we take a couple characters from our stream and basically focus on them. Go through a story specific to them, have them interact in ways that doesn't always happen in the ensemble stream that we do every Monday night, 8 p.m. Central. This particular episode, we're focusing on Cessair. Now, right before this happened, she had had a very rough time. A lot of things have been happening to the entire group, and she had a little bit of a breakdown. So this episode started with me asking her how much of all the changes that have come about in her life, with her discovering magic, being given a magical bookstore, and everything else, how much of it has she told her boyfriend? Hope you enjoy. Okay, per se, as far as you gaining your druid powers, you gaining access to druid magic, the weird stuff that's happened.
The weird stuff that's happened, I feel like she hasn't really acknowledged that too much. But with this whole, let's call it what it is, a breakdown of Cessair's following everything that just fucking happened, it probably comes spilling forth alongside her complaints about Scarlet, because at the end of that whole tirade, there's probably some mention of the whole, I'm not sure exactly how she would word it. No, she'd call it some fucker whispering things in my ear that ain't me.
Okay. At that moment, he just wraps you up in a gigantic hug. Hang on one second.
It's a Cessair burrito. Who knew Cessair could be vulnerable? My poor baby. She reached her breaking point.
He wraps you up, like you said, in the Cessair burrito, and he actually does the good things a boyfriend should do at this moment.
Right.
Listens to everything you have to say. Get the food that you like to order when you're at his place, which is a little difficult because he's in the middle of nowhere. There's like 3 places you can order from. But he does it, and he takes care of you that night. The next day, you notice that you're not hearing that voice when you're here. It was, I don't know, like I said, you just feel there's a lot more calmness when you're here. And so you basically spend a few days R&R. The trees out here are actually very responsive to you as far as just nature in general. And it's also secluded enough that you can do whatever you want and get away with it. And you notice that books about being a druid have just, been casually placed in various spots around the place, easy for you to find, but not shoved on you.
Right.
So you can pick up these ancient tombs about druidity, and it looks like magic runs in families, and it looks like from one of them that Mike's family tree had at least one practitioner whose skills lent themselves to the same area yours does. But like all good and relaxing things, eventually it does come to an end.
Yeah.
The phone rings. Well, actually, do you have a preference as to what your clerk is?
No, I mean, either way works.
You hired you ended up hiring a young male. He was polite during the interview. Didn't talk down. He does know about literature. Seems perfectly happy taking care of the first floor.
Yep.
doesn't see up into the other floors.
I didn't get that lucky.
You did for a few years. However, we're going to call him Chris.
All right.
Mike answers the phone that rings. Hey, Cessair, it's Chris. He hands you the phone.
What's going on, Chris?
Sorry to bug you, boss.
It's all right.
Looks like somebody broke in last night.
I'll be right there.
Okay. Thanks, boss.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
It's not your fault. Cessair just kind of hangs up and like pinches the bridge of her nose.
What happened now?
Well, it looks like the shop was broken into.
Nobody during the night? Nobody was hurt?
Yeah. Nobody was there.
Okay. He walks over, grabs both you're in his coat. And would you like me to drive you back?
That would be nice, I think.
So you go and get there, and the police are still there taking a statement from her. And you walk in, it's her, and there's somebody else in
Didn't you say Chris was male?
Yes, Chris is male. Sorry, did I say her?
Okay. You keep saying her, yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Wow. Well, I screw up pronouns all the time. At least I'm consistent. Okay. That part's gonna... yeah. So, yeah, he's given a statement to the police. You see somebody about 6'2", lean, muscular frame. You only see him from behind, in a tight shirt. Looks like he's cleaning up a little bit from the stuff, because basically the place has been, all sorts of stuff tossed around. Messed up. Looking up, you can even tell it looks like some of the ladders are definitely moved around. One of them looks damaged. As somebody, swatted it. Somebody stronger than you, possibly as strong as Scarlet when she's in full mode, swatted it. And like I said, place is a mess. Police are taking a statement. Mike looks around. Mike is actually in bed. Mike, you walk in. Mike is actually looking at the door. And the policeman walks over. Are you the owner?
That would be me.
Oh, sorry. Say this. Looks like you've been, well, at least an attempted burglary. Your employee couldn't tell me for sure if anything's been stolen. Does anything immediately down here look out of place?
She does like a quick, kind of just like a quick glance around, trying to look for anything immediately that might be missing. She has a decent knowledge of it, especially the first floor, because she spent a few years working and cataloging it before finding out that there's 3 times more of the shop, and she hasn't quite managed to get all of that cataloged yet. She's working on it, okay?
Yeah. Yep. No. You know what? Go ahead and give me a, what the heck? Go ahead and give me a mental plus no roll.
Mental plus no?
Yep.
Mental plus no or mental plus notice?
I would say mental plus
Wait, that
no.
doesn't matter. They're the same dice.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
They're both D10s. I just realized that.
Yeah, I don't really have a, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, hey. My everyday job would come into apply here.
Yes, it would.
That one never comes up.
Yep. If you want to roll another D8, that would work too. Yes.
D12, a D10, and a D8.
Yep.
Well, I got the 14, but I gave you a 1.
Okay, well, you give yourself a plot point, and I'm gonna give you.
So where are we sitting at for plot points and complications for this?
Honestly, you're right. They would have reset.
Yeah.
They would have.
I assumed as much.
Yep, they would have reset. In fact, actually, I got to get where they were at from you guys. So, because I think they feed into other stuff. You still have the D6, and I should have rolled it, but I'm going to let it. It was just a D6.
The influenced?
Yeah, you still have the D6 influenced.
Okay.
Can you give me. No, you know what? I'm going to let it go. D6. What the heck was that? Sorry, yeah. You have the D6. We'll call it D6 peeved.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I thought that would be.
I was having a nice, well-needed staycation.
Yep.
Now I've got to come back for this. But there's also the whole fact that, like, this is her home as well. Like, there's a small, like, I think I've described it, like an apartment kind of.
Yes.
Above the...
Yep.
kind of.
Yeah, no.
Above what she thought was the entire shop.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a set of stairs that take you up, and can you... We really need to... it doesn't look like they went into the apartment. I believe that your clerk said that's where you live.
Yes, that is mine.
So we'd like to check it out, please. If that's okay with you. Just to make sure that no one's there. It doesn't look like there's any signs. They were pretty crude in how they broke in the front door.
That's fine.
And Mike even says, I can take him up, babe, if you like.
Yeah. I'll stick around, check down here, and make sure nothing is actually missing.
Okay. So he goes off with the officer, and they exchange stuff, and he does the typical, or at least I'm assuming typical. I don't, but the the cop show typical. I was a cop in Chicago type thing. And yeah, you don't see anything as being stolen, but you do notice the ring around Chauncey's, or on that globe.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. Yeah, you just have the feeling that it was something happened.
Mm.
I mean, Chauncey's globe is still there. You feel your ward is still up. But something was definitely there. Or something definitely happened around it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that might have been the target. You don't know.
Yeah.
You hear Um, you hear a thud behind you, and you see that the extra person in the place that you don't know had righted one of the tables, one of the heavy tables by himself, and was picking up some of the books that had knocked on the floor.
So that guy, is he like police or not?
Well, you know what? Go ahead and give me roll.
I'm kind of getting the feeling not.
Yep. Yes. He's definitely not dressed like a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and give me. Actually, I just realized I got to do that differently. Wow. Okay. So you can use a plot point to buy off the peeved if you'd like. But otherwise, you can just hang on to it, and it's a 7.
No, I'm holding on to it.
It's a 7. Go ahead and roll double social.
Okay. I mean, if I have to. I guess with the 7, it's possible.
Wow.
I met your 7.
You did meet the 7. Okay. You met the 7. No, you don't think definitely don't think he's police. He's a 6'2" guy with a lean, muscular frame. And you can, you're sitting there, you're watching him a bit, and then your clerk comes over in a falsetto and goes, "Don't look too long, Mrs. Robinson. He's only 16. So
you know him then?
Yeah, he's been in here for the last couple days. He's been he's doing some research into his family, and that's what he said. And he's been coming in. He's good kid. Bought a book, and he always shows up Starbucks that I like. So.
Ay, children.
He's been, and he was here. He was here when I saw the place was broken into. He waited here with me till the cops, and then he just started cleaning up. Good, respects the books. Is there anything else you do other than the typical cleanup or anything like that?
Not, there's just that little weird feeling in the back of her mind that, like, this kid, 16 or no, this kid is giving me weird vibes.
Yeah.
Especially after hearing, like, that he's been around so often. Like, nobody comes in that often.
He, yeah, there's also the fact of it is, yes, he's 16, but he's big. And from looking at his, his arms are longer than is normal for somebody that age. His feet are huge. And he's just, and he's actually pretty strong. You don't think Mike would have been able to pick that table up by himself like that. But do you go talk to him, or?
Yes. No, she definitely does. At some point, she's gonna kind of approach him and, oh god, this is gonna be great because Cessair is trying to be friendly. She's already slightly peeved. So she's just gonna kind of, she'll introduce herself to him. I'm Cessair. This is my shop. I hear you've been in here the last few days. You stayed with my, what would she call him? You stayed with my, Jesus, I can't think of what his position would actually be. Cashier?
Clerk? I don't know.
Clerk is a good one. He stayed with my clerk, Chris, while waiting on the police, so I thank you for that. Can I help you find something? He's told me you've been researching family stuff.
Well, yeah, I've got it's nice to meet you. My name is Erwin. My name is Erwin. Puts out this gigantic paw of a hand. And shakes yours, assuming you.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah, just passive perception that you've been having, especially since you're in the store. He's got some juice.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more than Hugo does. And he starts, yeah, I've got a strange family tree, and I'm trying to look into some of the originators of it, and he kind of, and you've had some books here that have been a big help. And he kind of looks up and around a little bit. Technically his eyes are pointing above the top shelf.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing a great job of being subtle about it, but I'm not gonna make you roll. It's not worth you rolling, considering what your what dice
my notice.
what your dice are. Yeah. And yeah, no, it's been really helpful. I heard, I read about the store, the bookshop, and how it can be great for picking up esoteric stuff.
Well, you're not wrong.
And it's a big help, and I don't know, the area is nice. It's a nice, it's definitely warmer than Chicago is this time of year.
Is that where you're from then?
That's where I go. That's where my school is. My mom's kind of from all over. But right now she's on an archaeological dig, so.
You're not telling me that you came all this way just for my shop?
Yeah. And he goes back to looking up again, above the first floor. I didn't want to look into this in Chicago. Needed to find out some stuff for myself. About myself.
I can sympathize with that.
I'm sorry about your shop. That was just...
I'm sure it wasn't your fault.
I don't... No, they wouldn't have been able to bend the bars like that. No, I don't think it would, but I'm still sorry. You've got a good shop. You're going to have to get a metal worker in to fix that, the wrought iron on the outside, and that stuff's old. Um, I mean, I could probably bend it back for you into place later on once the cops are done if you'd like, but it's not going to look right. It probably won't work the same.
It would suffice in the short term, at least. I would be much obliged.
I owe you that much. And then at this point, your clerk is out of earshot, and once your clerk walks, actually your clerk calls out that he's going to go get some lunch go get some lunch since you're here. He's going to take advantage of it. Once he leaves, the kid sighs relief, looks at the doorway for the stairs, and then he jumps up. And how the illusion appears, you would see. You always saw you saw a ceiling, and there were beams that were there, but there was only like an inch of exposed beam.
Mm.
And then you'd see what you assumed was a old lath and plaster ceiling. He jumps up, his hands go past that point, and he's basically hanging off of the beam that's there and looking at your face. Then he drops back down. You hear the slap of his tennis shoe hitting your floor. I wasn't sure. Well, you're not supposed to tell somebody who's not in the know unless they already know. You know?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, without dancing around it, my dad is somebody. I don't know what. Yeah, I never met him, and I'm trying to figure out what he is. Your shop, you don't have a warden in the city. So
Not at the moment.
The guy who, he's a friend of mine, but he looks out for me. I just didn't want him knowing I was here, or I was researching it. If I did it in Chicago, he'd probably find out. If I did it in LA or any of the other cities going out west, he'd probably find out. I don't think he makes it out east too often. And without another warden here that answers to him, figured it was a good spot. And I heard it was you had a nice archive of reference materials. I take it your clerk doesn't know?
Not so far as I can tell.
Okay, good. I've been sneaking up in there when I need stuff. So it didn't, but so okay if I still keep looking and researching?
Who is this friend of yours that you're hiding this information from?
He's well, I'm not really hiding it. Hiding is a strong word for it.
An accurate term, it sounds like.
I'm hiding.
Look, I'm not judging. I'd just like to know.
He's the warden of Chicago. Harry Dresden.
That name means nothing to her.
Nope, it doesn't.
All right.
I mean, nothing. I'm not trying to figure out how to blow up the world or anything like that. Or
I get it. Can I just ask, why don't you want him knowing that you're looking for this information?
I don't know. My dad's gone to a lot of effort to keep it hidden, and technically, he works for my dad. He's always been straight with me as much as he could, but I always felt like he was holding something back. And I don't want it to, I have a feeling this is stuff I need to know.
All right. Well, I can understand that. She kind of like awkwardly reaches up because this is a giant fucking kid.
Yeah.
And just kind of like pats his shoulder.
He gives you a big, honest grin. Thank you.
Kid is a foot taller than me.
Yes, he is. A foot taller and, with a giant wingspan.
All right. You're welcome to keep looking in me shop. You're welcome. And I'll help you as well as I can.
Thank you. I think I gotta start. Maybe this probably might be a good time to start collating my notes and everything like that. I've only got a few more days before I gotta head back. Winter break only lasts that long.
It's been a minute since I was in school, but it's February. You're still on winter break?
Well, they do one in February. Like it's a private school. They do their own schedules.
She kind of like squints up at him a moment. All right, if you say so.
I promise, I'm not a truant.
I'm not your parent.
Oh, trust me, I could never mistake you for Mom.
Well, we'll just leave it at that then.
Yeah, thanks. And at that note, he does that same jump, twists himself around, and starts climbing up through. You
couldn't be more subtle about it.
Nobody else is here, and it's fun.
Fine.
But yeah, it is a little nerve-wracking watching him climb up your beamwork rather than the perfectly good ladders.
Monkey.
With that arm span, yeah, it's not exactly out of the line.
I'm not gonna lie, it was so mean. You started describing him and the extra long arms and the feet, and my brain went Neanderthal.
Wow. It's going to be interesting when you actually find out what he is. Or if you do. Okay, so at that point, Mike comes back down, says everything's fine upstairs. Nobody touched anything. I'm going to...
Well, that's good.
Then the officer takes the last bit of your statement that nothing's missing, and then he heads out. So I assume you and your clerk and Mike helps you get the place back in shape.
Yeah.
Okay.
Call insurance to talk about fixing the facade and everything.
Yep. Okay.
All the adult shit that she has to deal with now.
All right. So a day or two later, you're done. You're finally done with adulting. And you've given your clerk a couple days off just because he'd basically been there every time you're open for the few days. Irving is there, but you're intentionally not looking up because he's doing the monkey stuff. And you're up on the second story, taking a look at that ladder that got busted.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out how to get it there because you can't hire a carpenter to work on something that he can't see. You're not asking Mike because you've seen some of the evidence of his carpentry skills. So you're up there and you're dealing with it in standard Cessair thing, in which point your Irish is up.
A lot of cursing and percussive maintenance then.
Yes. Trying to figure out if duct tape will do the job.
Well, is it wooden?
It's wooden, yes. Now, that moment someone comes in, you're on the second story, so technically you're in a spot that nobody normal can see.
Right.
Male, well over 6 foot. Not Irving.
The giants coming into me shot lately.
And you swear you see a cloak around his shoulders as he's stepping through the shadows and into your shop. Do you do anything before he crosses the threshold?
Swear.
You glare?
Swear.
Oh, swear?
She's just like, oh, fuck me. There's another one.
And then he steps in to the thing, and you see a guy standing there, 40s to 50s, salt and pepper beard, well built, muscular, at least his same size, same, not as puffed out as Dimitri was, but still a strong, solid build. Walks in. He's got a large duffel bag that he's got in his hand, and he shakes some of the snow off the cloak that he's got on. And he's normally I don't cause that reaction when I walk into a store. Are you all right, ma'am? Are you all right, miss? And he's looking at you.
I'm fine. Let's just say I've had some experiences with another one that haven't left a pleasant taste.
Another one? What? Another?
If my assumptions are correct.
What are your assumptions?
Are you familiar with a Dimitri Blankoff? She stops herself from saying peacock.
Well, yeah, I know him. Yeah, I have encountered him before. But do you think I'm a warden?
You have the same air as him. Not quite as, puffed up, though.
I apologize. That was not... I didn't realize... I mean, I've been on a bus for several hours, so I may be a little rank. But at that moment, you notice that his cloak is... his cloak is actually white. After what you thought originally was just a lot of snow, it's white, very different coloring than and fabric than Dimitri's.
Sarah kind of like scrambles down from her perch on the second floor.
My name is Michael Carpenter. I'm not a wizard, but I know some wardens.
What can I do for you, Mr. Carpenter?
Well, since you were on the second floor,
I run the place.
You run the place. Excellent. My daughter has recently... My daughter is learning. about magic.
All right.
And I thought maybe if you had any books about veils that you could sell me. I'm trying to find her a gift, and I'm out of my depth with this.
All right. Well, let's see what we've got.
You take him through, and you do have some books about it. So what what happened to that to the ladder on that second floor that you were? I'm assuming you were swearing at that and not me.
Yes. Had a bit of a break-in the other day.
You did?
Yeah, not good for a number of reasons.
Something I didn't...
Nothing taken, no one hurt, no one was here. But, trashed the place something good.
What, He's looking around. Just... I wonder. Was it... Was the break-in of was it kids, robbers, or was it something a little bit more supernatural?
Had to have been someone in the know of things, given they made it to the second floor. And the amount of strength needed to break some of the ladder, for one. Not to mention the tables were tossed out, physically tossed.
Do you know that there is a teenager climbing around the beams above you?
He does that.
Okay.
I can't get him to climb the shelves like a normal person. He prefers his... It's more fun, he says.
I remember when... Yes. Let him have his fun. There'll be a point when he gets a little bit older and that type of stuff doesn't work anymore. So anything else strange been happening?
Oh, well, don't let me bother you with my tales of woe. Let's just say I'm still somewhat new to... She just kind of gestures broadly at the area.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say I've only been recently awakened, you might say.
I remember my first encounter. I don't think there's a good way to introduce someone to this. Have you always known you had?
Oh, that's been a recent thing as well. It's odd to awaken so late. I can't find much solid knowledge.
The White Council makes it difficult sometimes to get information. It was
Shite so secret that the ones that need it can't get it.
they expect, I think they haven't gotten used to the new world and how big it's gotten. They my friend still uses a rotary phone. And you look over at the fact that the only phone in the place is that a beat up old rotary phone.
Well, I found that technology can get finicky around any amount of power.
Finally gotten myself to the point where I only have to replace the microwave once a month.
I've had to downgrade to an old Nokia.
Oh, yes, but those things don't break.
But I liked my razor. And then Warden Mr. Peacock had to go and break it.
What did you call him?
Peacock. He comes into my shop shredding around like he owns the place. It's a fitting name.
my friend will enjoy that. He'll enjoy hearing that.
You should have seen his face the first time I called it to him, to his face.
It's when people see the when people have things thrust in their face, it can be a tricky situation. But they're often illuminated. How did you leave things with Warden Blankoff?
Oh, let's see. Last time I saw him, what was that, a week ago now? Or has it been longer? I forget how long, if that was before the time skip or after.
It was before the time skip.
It was before the time skip. Oh, no, that was... No, never mind. That was a few months ago. Shortly after we discovered what I am. And went over the 7 laws, and... Unless I'm mistaken, he swanned out of here like he had a stick up his arse, just like always. The whole dramatic flair of the cape as he swanned off.
I'm sorry. I taught him that. Didn't mean to teach it to him. But I think he got that from me.
I'm pretty sure he's taken it and owned it as his own.
The cloak helps. The cloak is useful. I find it useful. My friend does. The other one I know doesn't. Give me a knowledge plus no roll. Because at that moment
Mental plus no?
Mental plus no, yes. Sorry. Because at that moment, he just turns just... You do have a shot at beating it. Ooh, so close.
Not when I roll like that.
Well,
I'm assuming the polka dice reset too, right?
Yes, they would reset. They'll turn into stuff. So, so let's see. Yeah.
Well, I'll keep it written down so I don't forget.
Yeah, there was.
I just know I don't have it right now.
There's something familiar about him. You're not sure what.
If you don't mind me asking, you said you're not a warden. I can't find a better way to word this. I'm not the best with words, but what are you? Who are you? You know what I mean.
Well, first I'm a father. I'm a builder. And sometimes circumstances put me in the right situation where I can help with something. I find that I have a guiding hand that helps me go where I'm needed at the right moment, which is what brings me to your shop. Or actually, what brings me to your shop is, a 4-hour layover between the next bus. The bus that can take me back west. But from one of those trips.
Mm-hmm.
And I have skills that help people resolve situations. And sometimes I hunt down bad people.
You don't have a title to go along with all of that.
It's rather ostentatious. Knight of the Cross. Go ahead.
All right.
And go ahead and roll again and add your D8 into it.
Would the history knowledge spec
history would probably
come into play?
Yeah, history would, yes.
Okay, so remind me how the specializations work in knowledge.
Specializations stage up your die by 1.
Neat. So my D10 knowledge becomes a D12?
Yep.
Nice. And then, so D12 knowledge, D10 mental, or D12 mental, D10 knowledge, and the D8?
Yep.
The difficulty, or are we keeping the same?
Same difficulty. No, it would be that you've got your D12 mental, or your knowledge is D10, but that would get bumped up to a D12 for your history spec, and then your D8. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Well,
14?
Yeah, the die you can't see on the screen for folks watching this is a 10. And then a 14, which aptly puts, because it was your everyday die, there's a book on the table in front of you, and it's open to an entry on a dragon called Cessair, and how it was slain. By a man wielding by a Knight of the Cross wielding a mighty sword. And the drawing is the guy in front of you. He was dressed up more like a crusader, and the artist took certain liberties with the rendition. And you're reasonably sure he didn't actually kill the dragon like that, but yeah, that's who you saw. And all of a sudden that very long duffel bag makes a little bit more sense now.
Uh-huh. I see. All right, so can we just get on with it? What is it you're needing? Or wanting? Or think you're here to help with?
I don't...
Because there ain't no dragons around here that I'm aware of.
How did you know?
She just kind of like picks up the book.
Oh. He did it. he puts his hand out to take the book from you.
Mm.
Well, that didn't happen like that. Oh God, I hope my wife never reads this. Well, I'm here on a layover. I came into your shop because because it was an interesting shop, and you're right near the Greyhound station, which you are right near the Greyhound station. It's around the corner from you. Or not around the corner, but nearby.
Right. Yeah.
And I have not been sent to you on a mission from God.
All right.
But is there something you need help with?
Sarah just kind of like pauses. There's like this pregnant pause for a long moment as like her brain, you can see it running over everything that has happened the last few months. It's just like, where do I start?
And he honestly is just sitting there very patiently. I
don't even know, to be honest.
Well, I still have a few hours, and rather than sit in a Starbucks and drink overpriced coffee, I could take a look at that ladder for you.
I wouldn't say no to that.
Come on up, give me a hand. And he climbs up there. I put the bag behind your counter.
Yeah, not a problem.
He sets it back there. And he climbs up and he starts doing it. He goes back down to his bag and, believe it or not, gets out a small thing of wood glue that he has with him.
So not just carpenter by name, then?
No, by trade also. No, and besides, it's helpful. Broken doors, be surprised how easy they can be mended afterwards with some industrial glue.
Sarah kind of watches him for a moment, and she just kind of like mutters underneath her breath. So it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, you just walked into my store.
No.
And is fixing my ladder.
He blushes at that. Far from it. If only I had that wisdom, my daughter would not. Maybe I would understand my daughter better.
I don't have much experience with fathers and whatnot, or daughters for that matter, aside from being one myself. But, from my limited experience, it's not likely. No matter who you were.
I think you're probably right. Actually, you'd notice this. At no point during this conversation has that little voice spoke up. Did
we figure out, has she made the connection between that presence, we'll say, and the coin? Because I kind of feel like the coin, at least the physical coin, has been one of those things that she doesn't ever think about. It's just one of those things that it's just there.
Yeah, she hasn't really. She's never really made the direct connection. between them. With the exception that Seed Thief didn't react well to it.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a shock. And you also didn't hear... Thing is, Cessair is ridiculously... She's ridiculously smart. So you could... I would be willing to say you could start to put it together, especially because we're literally talking all of the time when you're at Mike's. It was quiet, but then you were in pajama mode.
Yeah.
When you got there, you went from one set of pajamas to the other. So the coin was in your jeans. Okay. So I can't remember where you guys were at when you were talking.
He just gotten his wood glue and stuff.
Yep.
And working on that and talking about parents and teenage daughters.
Yeah. I do my best, and she's my son made so much more sense. But anyways, so what prompted you to discover everything? I mean, I never really had to come out this area much. There was there was a wizard out here who kind of had things under control.
Oh, he passed on a few months ago, actually. As for what so what opened to my eyes, or at least started the process, there was a long stage of denial. Let's call it what it is. So long story short, a couple of locals brought a piece of a phobophage into me shop. And...
Okay.
Well, that's the short version, anyway. They were looking for how to... Well, they needed to figure out what it was first. And so I found the books we needed. Actually borrowed a few from said late wizard. Or, well, his nephew, anyway. And it kind of snowballed from there. Let's just say I've had a run-in with the magical court system already.
Magical court? I mean...
Or something. That's...
I can honestly say my wife is, especially early on, my wife became very... It happens when you do... It happens when you do good things. My wife became very knowledgeable of bail proceedings in Chicago.
That's more or less how it happened, yes. And then we got put on probation, and now we've got a babysitter, and...
You have... Oh, no.
Well, let's just say... Actually, because I know Mike mentioned calling and talking to
Yep.
the judge about her whole situation.
He hasn't yet.
Okay. Well, let's just say some things have happened, and I'm trying to get a new parole officer and not be lumped in with the 3 that I was.
These were the 3 that you did that you were...
2, technically, one of them is MIA.
I'm sorry. That happens. Hopefully he'll come back.
He was the one I tolerated the most out of him.
But I mean, you have face things with them though, right?
Sort of. But I'd rather every other time we face something to not end up with teeth in me.
One of them's a vampire?
Sort of. She hasn't drained anyone yet. Little Miss Perfect Doctor.
Oh. Okay, like Susan. Those face a hard life. I'm not making excuses for her. She should not have bit you.
I get that, and I understand that. But every time she gets a little hungry, she starts blaming it all on me. She starts coming at me while I'm trying to help save Hugo's fucking life. And she starts attacking me, so no... Anyway, you didn't come to listen to my problems.
No, but I'm here. And it might help you to talk.
Maybe. Okay. She starts and stops like a couple different times.
Yep.
And like...
He just keeps working on the ladder. And you see it start to be come back together.
Okay. I'm gonna sound like I'm mad. But the last few months or so, I feel like there's been... It's not quite... There's been another voice in me head, more or less. That isn't quite me. And there's times when it's fine, when it's gone. The last few days I've spent with my boyfriend and at his place, and it was fine. I didn't feel nothing. But then the last... Well, okay, that was like a week ago. But the last couple days when I've spent here, there's been times when I swear there's thoughts that aren't mine. There's feelings that aren't mine. But then sitting with you here right now, I don't feel that. I don't know why it goes or comes or what it is.
How long ago did this start?
I think I first started noticing it a couple months ago. It's been really bad here recently. The last couple weeks or so. Month, maybe.
Is there anything that you've picked up to help you? I gotta go back down to my bag to get something. And he kind of climbs down.
Mm-hmm.
And goes and grabs his bag and puts it up on a table near where it is.
I mean, something to help me. I've done a lot of reading to try and figure stuff out. And I think at that she kind of like slips her hand into her pocket for a second. Wait a minute. I found this a while back.
Okay, go ahead and give me a mental and focus. You can roll in the difficulty now. I think I'm rolling the difficulty. Oh, wait, hang on, sorry.
I say you've rolled a couple different dice.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So an 8 is your thing. And you get
14.
And you get a D6 polka die.
Yay.
You find your hand twitching. As you're pulling it out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Your hand is twitching like you don't want to. You're still in charge. But
yeah.
You're like hesitating.
You gotta like grinds her teeth for a second, and there's like, nope, this is my fucking hand.
Yep.
It's gonna do what I tell it to.
His hand has gone into his duffel bag. Can you drop the coin?
I can try.
Go ahead.
She's got like the hand holding the coin, and her other one is like grabbing her wrist, like, drop it.
Yep. Go ahead and 10, same roll, and you got a D6 polka die. Oh, and you don't even need it.
11.
11.
I was curious to see how that would go if she failed.
Okay. Two things happen simultaneously. You hear the familiar slap of tennis shoes on the beam, fairly near where you are, of Irving's oversized feet. You drop the coin so it pings and falls. You hear Irving growl. Take your hand out of the bag. I don't want to see the sword come out. At that point, Michael does pull his hand out. There is no sword on it. He's not holding the sword. Puts his hands up. It's fine. There's nothing that we need to worry about. Now that she's dropped the coin, she gave it up. Irving has put himself not between
I've got a guard dog.
Not between you and him, but he is right there.
Right.
Cessair, are you all right? Oh, you don't have the D6 complication influence anymore.
I'm fine, actually.
How did you get this? Michael says. And thank you for giving it up.
I found it here in me shop. It wasn't like out in the open nowhere, but
there's a you're not branded.
I should think not.
You never took the coin up intentionally.
Oh, I have no clue what it was. I still don't have a clue what it is. Other than a gigantic pain in me arse.
I hope you don't mind if I take this off your hands. And you see him pull out the whitest handkerchief you've ever seen.
Be my guest.
He reaches down and picks up the ring. Picks up the coin.
It has now morphed into the One Ring.
Yes. How did this get here? We passed
Cessair
this.
is doing everything to not glance at fuck's his name's orb. Oh,
yep. Okay.
Chauncey.
Yep.
Just refusing to look in that direction.
This was in Chicago not that many months ago. It was supposed to be in a safe location. Well, you have... Damn it.
If I could get a hold of Underwood, I'd call him and ask.
Lashiel, what did you do to this woman? You never knowingly took up the coin. So it sounds like all it did was influence you.
That would make a lot of sense.
Lashiel is...
a right cunt.
The seducer.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, she's in... It does great testament to your willpower that you never succumb to her. People who bear these coins pay a great price for the knowledge and power they're given through them. Apparently, this 4-hour layover had a purpose. I was here to pick up this coin.
Oh, don't start going on about Providence.
In the end, it doesn't matter. I was here when you gave up the coin. And that's all that matters. So that it can go back into safety and not affect, hopefully go out of circulation for quite a while.
Would probably be best.
It will. Your friendship to Cessair does her he actually makes a point of zipping. He puts the coin in his duffel bag and he makes a point of zipping it closed. Mm-hmm. Looking at Irving. Everything is good now, son. The danger has passed. And you can feel his eyes on you. You okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. And then he does a ridiculous jump. Grabs the beam with one hand in a way that, just drives you absolutely nuts. And goes off.
Does it to get a rise out of me?
Yes, he does.
I think Irving's got a bit of a crush.
Yep, he does.
Teenage boy.
Yep. Well, still one task undone. And he climbs back up. Do you have any questions?
None that I can articulate at the moment.
He hands you a card. It's for a It's for a contract. It's basically a business card for his building business. And he, on the back are 2 cell phones. If you find yourself coming across another tarnished ancient Roman coin, feel free to call either of those numbers.
It will do.
Top one is mine. The second one is a friend of mine. And at a pinch, you could even contact Peacock.
Yes, well, I do have his number.
He does know enough to know what these are.
So, all right, this friend that you keep mentioning, can I have his name?
Yeah.
So that if I do need to contact him, I at least know.
Oh, the friend?
A name.
Sonia.
All right.
And, trust me, when you get him on the phone, he will be unmistakable. In fact, you might get along well. And with that, he pops the last rung back in the ladder. I'm not going to say it's as good as new, but
it's functional.
It's functional. It works, and give it a good 24 hours. Well, it's not like he's going to be climbing on it anyways, but give it a good hour before you climb on it. A good 24 hours before someone my size climbs on it.
Got it.
I'm very happy to have met you, Cessair.
Yes, well, I feel a bit... Well, let's just say I'm a bit relieved you stepped into my shop.
So am I. And congratulations. I've only met one other who showed the willpower you did.
I could see why.
They're seductive. The cost is too high.
I'm not gonna lie, if she weren't a right cunt, I'd probably not have.
Well, again, if you need to talk, feel free to call those numbers. But
Seer needs a well-qualified therapist.
Yeah. And he goes down and he grabs his bag. It's my bus's. My bus. Actually, I need to go to a local church. This means I get to skip riding on a bus back to Chicago. So my wife will thank you. She'll be seeing me. She gets to see me a day earlier.
All right. Well, you're welcome to stop in whenever you're around, I suppose.
I will. And he smiles and leaves.
Cessair just kind of like... She just kind of deflates.
Yep.
Just a little bit. And then she's gonna scramble down and go make some coffee.
Yep. You get the sense that Irving checks on you a couple times, but otherwise leaves you alone. The next day, he did show back up with a pipe and used it to bend those bars back in shape. You can still feel that the damage to him have hurt the wards. So
yeah.
Not sure what you're going to have to do.
Do some more reading.
Yep. But, so school's starting back up, so I'm going to go catch the plane trip back.
All right.
Thank you for everything, and I hope things calm down a bit.
Oh, you and me both, kid. Well, you're welcome to stop in whenever.
I will. Thank you, Cessair.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid heads off. And things return to a little bit of normal.
I'm going to kind of miss having him around.
Well, you didn't have to worry
Somebody to yell at for climbing the shelves is always nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of, what the she still hasn't figured out the furry thing that's around her shelves. She kind of thinks about that for a minute. She's like, wait a minute.
Nope, she hasn't. And you still find them you still find the long red hairs occasionally.
They're not mine. I know if they're not mine.
No, they're not yours.
I wouldn't shed this much without noticing.